Welcome to Grace. Never heard of her. I'm Gina.
And I'm Maddie. We're two moms, two friends, two overstimulated women navigating motherhood, new identities, and careers, all while challenging society's expectations and redefining what it means to do it all.
Because Grace, well, never heard of her, but word is she's worth getting to know.
Staying warm over there under the mounds of snow that's hitting New England right now, Maddie?
It's about to be March. We're done. We're done with this.
I know. I'm just thinking, okay, Leo's birthday is coming up, but it's going to snow and be 15 degrees. So I got to figure out what birthday parties are going to look like in the future.
Yeah.
Because they're always going to have to be indoors.
Unless you get a freak March.
Yeah, not banking on that. But I have to tell you about something that I bought that is literally changing lives here at the Sweet House. This is not a paid promotion. Have you ever heard of loops?
No.
Okay.
What is it?
So I didn't even get influenced. Like I saw it on Instagram and I was like, you know what? Chris needs these. And I ended up buying a pair for myself too. They're these tiny little like ear pods. Okay. You can see straight through it. Okay. You put them in your ear and it doesn't silence noise completely, but it takes that shrill sound out of overstimulating noises so that it just feels more manageable. I cannot explain it, but it works. If you go on their website, it says listen to the sound and then click the button to hear the same sound with a loop in your ear. And it's so subtle. I wish I had a better way to explain it, but just picture like your kids screaming and crying and you're just like, oh my God. When the loops are in, you're just kind of like, okay, it's kind of annoying. You know when you're on a plane and that feeling of you have to pop your ear? It just feels like you're a little more in your head and you can't hear every single little tiny sound around you, but you can still hear.
Yeah.
So I could still have a conversation with somebody with them in. Yeah. No, it's pretty cool. And I guess there's a ton of different types. There's ones for concerts. We got the parent one. There's social work ones. There's a bunch. So loops, go get them if you're overstimulated. Chris is a different person with them in because he gets very overstimulated by all the loud noise. And there was a night where they were feral and he was like, that wasn't so bad. I could handle it. I had my loops. So I'll text him sometimes from daycare when I do pick up and I'll be like, get your loops in. One of those days.
Oh, yeah. It's like every day, huh?
I'm also very excited because next week I'm getting Botox again. It's been a long time. I think I've been on almost a year hiatus.
Are we treating TMJ or anything with Botox or what is the driver behind it?
Maddie, the driver is insecurity and the need to feel beautiful. No, in all seriousness, no, it's strictly vanity. I struggle with seeing myself age. There's something that happened right around 34, which I know you have yet to hit. I remember texting a friend and bringing this up, and she's like, no, Gina, actually, there's a molecular change that happens to a woman around that age where your face does change. There was a day where I looked in the mirror and I thought, I don't recognize myself. And it wasn't like, oh my God, I'm so ugly. It wasn't like that. It was just, I don't recognize myself. I feel like I look different from a foundation. I just don't look like me. And I'm used to it now, but there was definitely that shift. And so I feel like since that shift, I've been struggling to celebrate her and instead trying to fix her. And by her, meaning my face.
I'm so torn on the subject of Botox because On the one hand, I very much want to be like women should be empowered to make decisions that feel good to them. And I know it's very much a personal choice. But then on the flip side, I think it's hard and frustrating that it's changing the beauty standard so much, and if it's not so for me, Botox filler, that is just not something I'm interested in or want for myself, and it's, again, a personal choice, but I think it's hard to sit back and reconcile with all these other influencers or celebrities or just what beauty looks like now. Feels like you're at a disadvantage of like, "Oh, if I don't want to invest in that or that's not something that I'm aligned with trying, then cool, I'll look like this." It's hard. I think the other component of it is childhood influences. My parents both were very traditional in the sense of not changing your body or your face. Like, even me getting a tattoo was a whole conversation that we had that
Wow.
they had so many thoughts and opinions around it. And I think that's where part of my stems from. And
Mm,
they would almost judge other people, I think, that did do it. And so
mm.
I try to take a step back of I'm not being judgmental, but I do think it was almost instilled in me of just that natural look and feel, and I do get concerned with my friends and so many people that I talk to are getting Botox or fillers or just, you know, always talking about these new trends or beauty,
Mhm.
standards, and what does that do for Zoe as she grows up? And if
Mm,
my face doesn't look like her face as she
mhm.
ages or grows, like, what does that tell her about herself and how she perceives her own beauty. And so I don't know that I have the answer, but I think I have my own internal conflict for myself, but then I think
Right.
about it through her lens and I don't know kind of how to grapple with that.
Yeah, this is a super, super heavy topic. I think just in general of the culture around beauty, how it's changed, how social media has changed everything. And I don't know, I kind of want to start from the beginning. What were your views growing up of beauty? Were you confident? Were you insecure? What was the narrative? What were the messages you were getting? Take us back into Maddie's world.
Oof. I don't know if I want to go back.
I know, right? It's like,
I
ooh.
Yes. So if I think back, I feel like we were on sort of the cusp of a lot of very substantial changes as it related to beauty. My God, like the awkward face was very real.
Oh
Yeah.
my. If you could see, I have this picture where I think maybe 13, braces, pencil thin eyebrows, sweat pouring out of my underarm pits, and I'm like a training bra, and I'm like, "Eh," and I'm just like, "How did we
Yes.
look like that when 13-year-olds today look like 18-year-olds?"
Truly. My photo that I always go back to, there's 2. One, I cheered in middle school, and I think I had licked back
Oh
hair.
god.
And I hate having my hair up. Like,
Yeah, I don't think I ever see you with your hair up.
I know because it's probably an insecurity. This is my comfort. Like my hair
Oh.
is a comfort of mine. And I had braces.
The braces.
And I was so pale. Oh my god.
Yeah.
So that photo sticks out, or the other photo that sticks out, I would scrunch my hair and I'd straighten my bangs, and I also had braces.
Oh my that is like the iconic millennial
Yes.
hairstyle.
Oh,
Yeah.
it was so bad. But I don't know that there was all of these external influences. Like again, I'm so naive to pop culture, and I think it almost maybe helped or saved me a little bit from feeling the influence or kind of pull. But I will say my friends definitely didn't go through as awkward of a phase as I did. And so I think the comparison, I was definitely very self critical. If I think about it, I was like the funny one of the group
Okay.
where they could rely on like their looks or beauty. And I was like, the jokester. It's interesting because I don't think I let it define me, but it was always a thought in the back of my head. What about you?
I had an entirely different experience. I don't even know if I should say had. I probably should say I have because this is something that I have struggled with my whole life. And look, I'm not here to point fingers. This isn't, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, it's my parents' fault, da, da, da. They did the best they could with what they grew up with, what they were taught. So there's that. But as you were talking, things were standing out to me. When you said I was not defined by my beauty, I was. At least looking back, that's how I remember it. My memory of growing up was I'm too loud, I'm too emotional, I'm too anxious, I'm not happy enough, I'm always in a bad mood, but I'm beautiful, I'm skinny, I have nice proportions. I don't know, I'm making things up, but that is how I remember growing up. So I was almost shamed for my personality, shamed for my internal self, and praised for the outside. And so I think that actually, I don't even want to say I think, I know that that played a huge factor in always caring about my appearance, always comparing myself to other people. I remember it was, what was it, like Teen Vogue? Whatever the magazines were a thing. We didn't have TikTok in middle school to watch makeup tutorials. So I would open up a magazine and I would try to recreate the makeup on Hilary Duff or Mandy Moore, whoever the icon was that year. And interestingly, my mom was just we are just so different at our cores. She grew up being more like a tomboy. She wasn't into clothes. She wasn't really into makeup. So that wasn't something that we necessarily bonded over, of her showing me how to do things. Like I kind of just wanted to do it myself. I became obsessed with clothes because again, I wanted to look and be accepted strictly just for my outward appearance, which is so sad, you know? And similar to you, I was blessed with incredible metabolism. I definitely took that for granted because I was a rail. And same thing, girls would be like, "Oh, you're so skinny. I wish I was that skinny. Oh my gosh, your stomach's so flat." Like there was just so much narrative around appearance.
Mm.
And something that I think really shaped me was almost this hiding of your flaws. Let's try to fix your flaws instead of, "Hey, this is who you are and why it's special and why it makes you you." And the thing that really comes to mind is body hair.
Mm.
I am Italian. As you can probably imagine, I was covered in dark, thick hair, legs, arms, sideburns. I had it everywhere. And kids were ruthless, you know? I'm thinking back specifically elementary school, but kids would make fun of me. They would call me Wolverine. They were just so cruel. And again, this is not a knock on my parents because I think that they were trying to protect me in the best way that they knew how, which was if I'm coming home crying because kids are making fun of me, okay, let's help get rid of the problem so that you're not upset, so that you're not getting made fun of. So that is what we did back then. And so my mom would bleach my arm hair, bleach my mustache hair, and try to make it look inconspicuous. And I was thankful. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I was thankful because it did help. It did take the attention away. But what that taught me, right, as an adult is your flaws are not something to celebrate, they're something to change. And I think that's why I'm obsessed with the idea of Botox, the idea of changing my hair. I just got Invisalign, even though I had braces twice. Did I need it? No. I probably would have been fine without it, but I was feeling my teeth kind of shifting. I was like, no, I need perfect teeth. I have this obsession with feeling beautiful. And it's what's most interesting, I think, is the kind of oxymoron of I sit here and say I'm obsessed with perfection and looking perfect, yet I hate working out. I don't wanna eat healthy, roll out of bed in sweatpants 99% of the time. I think the stage of life where I'm at is different, and so maybe that's kind of a separate thing, but going back to just, adolescence, college, post-college, if I was not deemed beautiful, I was not worthy in my mind, and when I think about passing on things to our kids, granted, I have 2 boys, regardless, there is a precedent that I wanna set of accepting your flaws. Leo has a trail of hair down his back, just like I did, and people will comment on it. I've commented on it, not to him, but, to others, because Chris is hairless, so, he got all the Simonelli genes, and I can't wait to talk about why having hair on your body makes you so unique and having hair on your back means that you have this full head of hair and you got this Italian, these Italian genes and your personality is big and how maybe that insecurity opens up the doors for all these other great things about him versus let's shave your back. Like, let's get rid of it.
Yeah.
And who knows? Maybe that will never be an insecurity. Maybe by the time he's the age where it would be one, it will be gone. I don't know. But something that is so important to me is teaching my kids how to embrace themselves and to not look outward as a measure of how they should look.
Yeah. Can I also just say, I'm so sorry that that was your experience.
Thank you.
Ugh,
It's okay.
no, it's not okay. It's
You're right, it's
not
not.
okay, okay?
You're right, it's not okay.
But I feel that because similarly, I am also a very hairy person, and I couldn't wait to shave my legs. My mom didn't tell me you're not supposed to shave your entire body. When I tell you I got that razor and I shaved my entire body, and I'm still paying for it today. I do laser hair because of what I did as a child.
Really?
Yes, because I don't know what my hair type is. I mean, I have so much hair, it's so thick, and so I have that thick, black, coarse hair that when you
Sure.
shave it, that's what it grows back as.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I've got it too. It's funny because my mom was the opposite. My mom was like, "You better not touch your body with a razor." And I was like, "Please, can I just shave my legs, please?" "No." And I did it anyway, and I got in so much trouble.
wow. Yeah,
Yeah, but I kept doing it, and yeah, I wasn't until I think college that I started shaving my arms.
okay.
I've never looked back. I always joke I shave from the nose down.
I I feel that, and I do just wanna note postpartum also
Oh my
amplified
gosh.
hair growth in new
Yeah,
places.
I know.
I have been doing laser hair removal, and I started doing my mustache.
Is it amazing?
Gina, the the laser was not killing the hair.
Oh my
So,
god.
I am doing laser plus electrolysis, which is the most painful thing ever. It is like elec electricity into your pore, multiple
Ew!
zips, and then one by one pulling out the hairs. Yes.
Oh,
Yes, because you're
not
releasing
okay.
it from its root. It is torture. Yes, so the things we do
Oh
for
my
beauty.
god. Well, right, and it's like, when did hair become something to be grossed out by? Like, why is that? Remember Julia Roberts who showed up at an award show with underarm hair and everyone's like, "Ew, oh my God. It's fucking hair. Like, I mean, listen, to each his own, right? I personally feel better without hair. But yeah, if you as in a general you have body hair and you want to embrace that body hair, do you, baby girl? I think the same goes for weight in general. Like, I have to talk about this because this was my experience. Gaining weight and letting, quote unquote, letting yourself go, like, wasn't an option. That's just not something we do. God gave me this canvas and I have to take care of it. And I think there's a difference between fitting a physical mold or fitting a physical standard versus being unhealthy.
Mm, agreed.
If my parents came to me and said, "Look, we've noticed the way that you're eating. You are not nourishing your body. I haven't seen you eat a vegetable, but I've seen you house like a box of cookies. That's not good for your body. That's not going to help you live a long, fruitful life." But instead I got, and I'm 1000% paraphrasing, I do not believe these words ever came out of their mouth, but from what I heard was,
Yeah.
"You're getting fat, you're getting ugly, you're not gonna be accepted." I don't think I ever grew up having a healthy relationship with food because it wasn't necessarily like, "Oh, I need to eat healthy." It was, "Oh, okay, I need to lose 5 pounds. Let me not eat carbs for a week," or something. The metric system was appearance and numbers on a scale. It wasn't how it truly, like, affected my body, and I really hate that. I feel like you do have a really good relationship with food, so I'm curious if that was in spite of how you grew up or what you picked up from your parents.
It's interesting because I think the way my brother ate was definitely talked about a lot more in my family than how I ate, and I don't know if it's because, again, of my metabolism. Like, we had different metabolisms, we had different needs, but I agree that nourishment was never the conversation. And it's interesting because when I talk to my mom, I know that she struggled a lot. I kind of feel for her because I think she hid a lot of that from us, which I'm appreciative that that wasn't the narrative, that she hated how her body looked or that she was dieting or whatever, but she was. She was always on some sort of program, and I don't know that I took that to heart as much as maybe I could have. So I'm thankful for that because I think that could have given me a very different concept of food and nourishment and health. But it is. It's a really tough topic. I wanna get back to your perspective on your kids, how you wanna make sure Leo feels this inner self-worth and confidence. I feel strongly about that as it relates to eating and food, and I think, like, everything we're talking about goes back to how do we discuss these really heavy, hard topics with our kids
Mhm.
so that they don't also carry the weight of what we carried as kids.
I totally agree. And similar to you, my mom also, I think, struggled with it, but she didn't hide it from us. She was always very open about, "Oh, I've been so bad. I'm cutting down on desserts. I need to lose 5 pounds." So that was always something that was openly talked about. So something that I try to do with my boys, what you were just alluding to is how we're talking about these things. I refuse to comment on my body in front of them. I try really hard to not explain to Leo that food is good or bad, but that it's healthy or it's good for your body or it's something that a lot of can make you feel bad. And he's kind of become obsessed with it. So when I give him something, he'll be like, "Is this healthy?" And I'll say, "Yeah, it is healthy," or, in moderation, sometimes you shouldn't eat this all the time, but, like, for yogurt, for example, like, he's obsessed with yogurt, and I try to look for the best, like, low sugar, not super processed, and, I'll say, "Yeah, but eating too much of it could make you feel yucky," and I like that communication around it because it's helping him, I think, learn to look out for how his body reacts to certain things. He'll be eating breakfast and he'll be like, "Oh, I had too much yogurt. My tummy hurts." And I'm like, "Okay, well then let's only have 1 instead of, 2." And so now he'll say, "Can I have another yogurt?" "No, no, no. I already had yogurt today and I don't want my tummy to hurt." So that to me is like, if there's one thing I can be proud of, it's that we've already created this foundation of letting him dictate food based off how it makes him feel and not shame him because of how it makes him look.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Because I think the other piece we didn't even touch on as we were talking through our parents and how they parented and their thoughts and beliefs, how much of what their thoughts and beliefs were to protect their own insecurities and an image of their family
Mhm.
versus protecting us as
That's
children.
so interesting and dark. I'm like, "Oh my god, that's what it was, wasn't it?" It was self-serving.
Yes, and we talk about this all the time of our own discomfort and sitting in our own discomfort to allow our kids to thrive and be their own person, and I think this just ties it all back that as we're talking through this, I'm like, yes, it's our own discomfort and our own insecurities, and if we let those take priority over what really matters, we're gonna end up in the same cycle that our parents were potentially in when they were raising us or just the culture or society. And so I love the way you talk about food with Leo because we try to do similar with Zoe and Parker. And so similarly, we try to talk about food in the sense of we eat food to grow big and strong. And we need
Uh-huh.
to that is the goal. We wanna grow big and strong. And these other things like sugar, sweets, whatever it may be, are nice, but they're not helping us grow big and strong. And so we need to eat that food first and then wait and kinda listen to our body. Do we feel like we've had enough? Do we feel full? And then we can kinda move on to something else.
I think you touched on something super important, and it's the education piece because I think back to a lot. I mean, this goes for a lot of things, but how often did we get the answer, "Because I said so?"
Yeah.
Because that's just not what we do. Helping them to understand why we're making those decisions, I think, is a huge piece of it, because, yeah, we can say, like, "This is good for your body, this isn't," but this is why it's important to eat protein, to eat vegetables, and where I think I still struggle is a little bit going back to, like, your our own discomfort. My kids are really picky, I'm sure, as is every toddler. I can't really get them to eat vegetables. If they could eat chicken nuggets, pizza, mac and cheese, cut peanut butter and jelly, like, they would, and then insert any snack food, essentially. So, I try really, really, really hard to buy healthier things, but I definitely think there's this pressure I put on myself, even in front of other moms specifically, not even in front of just moms, but even, my own mom or my mother-in-law, where I'm like, "Am I just, like, the worst parent because I'm giving them crackers and, chicken nuggets for dinner?" But it's the only thing that they'll eat, and I understand that whole, like, you gotta put it in front of them, they need to be exposed to it, but quite frankly, I don't like throwing food away. I don't wanna prepare something that I know they're just gonna look at, and then now what? Groceries are expensive, so that's where I still struggle, is making sure they are getting nutrition. Both my boys are on multivitamins for that reason, to kind of help make up for for any type of malnutrition. And that's my pediatrician said that. She's like, a lot of kids are picky. A lot of kids don't get what they need. So that multivitamin kind of fills that gap.
I think that's real because I can very much relate. We have like both ends of the spectrum, and I think we also find ourselves falling into that trap. My kids don't get a ton of like they'll eat broccoli. So most of the time we make
Great.
broccoli, or I'm supplementing with pouches. Sorry, I know people have
Oh,
thoughts
yeah,
and
I do
feelings
that
around
too.
pouches, but they're getting it from that.
That's true. I never even thought about that.
I also just want to go back to, given you have 2 boys and I
Mhm.
have a girl, do you think that society's pressures and these expectations of beauty and what society deems a flaw, do you think it impacts girls and boys the same? Differently? Do you think we need to be having the same types of conversations?
I think that's an excellent question. And my thought process on it is I do think beauty standards impact the same, regardless of sex. I think it's more acceptable to hear the insecurities coming from women than it is from men because, like we've talked about before, men are supposed to be strong. They're not supposed to be insecure, sad, weak, which is so unfair because, as we know biologically, they are more sensitive. Like, that just is what it is. And so to basically force them to internalize anything that they might be insecure about because it's showing weakness is not fair. I think specifically with Leo, like Leo is very curious. So he wants to wear my makeup. He'll say, "Oh, I want that Elsa dress. It's beautiful." Or because he doesn't see gender. He has not been tainted yet where that's for girls and that's for boys. And so there's this part of me that wants to embrace that. And yeah, I mean, could I buy the Elsa snow boots? Probably, but then he likes Spider-Man and he likes Batman and trucks too. Maybe I need to take my own advice because it's something maybe I'm protecting him. I don't want him to get the questions of why are you wearing boots that are for girls or blah blah blah. Um, but if he wants to wear the boots, who cares? And so I think for me, it's less of beauty standards and more of almost navigating this line of masculinity of what's acceptable versus, "Okay, this is your borderline too feminine." If Leo wants to play with Barbies, if Leo wants to dabble in my makeup, if he wants to paint his nails, that's a form of self-expression, and so I have to deconstruct what I was raised to believe, which is boys are boys, they play with trucks and dinosaurs, and girls play with Barbies and makeup. And I need to feel confident in that and not trying to shrink him or silence him or, ask him to be somebody different because I'm uncomfortable with the results. I'm not here to judge. I want him to be happy. I want him to feel confident in whatever way that looks like. The other thing I'll say is a big piece of raising boys is gonna be how they view women, how they talk about women, not objectifying women. It's like Leo will say to me, he'll like, "Mommy, you look so beautiful." And I love that, don't get me wrong, but I also want to be funny and smart and strong and kind, right? I have decided that I was given 2 boys because I need to raise good men. That is what my job is. And so hopefully between helping shape their confidence in addition to building this belief system of how women should be viewed or shouldn't be viewed, I'm hoping it's going to be one step closer to accomplishing that.
I love what you're instilling and trying to instill in your boys because similarly, raising a girl, I find myself struggling with that line as well because the language we use and the language she uses, and I think she's learning and hearing it at school too, is beautiful, adorable, cute. And I know Tyler and I have had some conversations because Tyler's go-to is and she's, like, looking for the compliment when she comes down in a dress or she has an outfit she's
Sure.
proud of. He's like, "You look beautiful," and I love that, and at the same time, I do question, is that how we should be communicating? And I feel like it's created this conundrum now of
Yeah.
how much can you use that language versus we do try and all the time say, "You're smart, you're strong," and she does, she gets so proud of when she can carry something super heavy, and we're like, "Oh my god, you're so strong, Zoe." And how do you strike the right balance? Because she will, like, I'll put on makeup or an outfit, and she's like, "Oh, mama, you're adorable," or "You're beautiful,"
Oh.
and it's so sweet, but to your point, I don't want that to be the end all be all, and I don't want her to get so wrapped up in what beautiful looks like or the definition of what beauty is to her versus looking inward and being
Right.
really proud of who she is, her personality, her strength, her resilience versus her outward appearance.
That's a great point, 'cause I do the same thing, like, with Leo, I say, "You look cool." I mean, like, "You look so cool in this outfit," and it got to a point where he'll put something on, he'll go, "Do I look cool?" I wonder if it could be something as simple as, like, "You look so cool," and then he's happy about that compliment, but you know what else I think makes you so cool is how big of a heart you have. You're so kind to your friends, like, maybe it's just an "and." Because
Yeah.
because it does feel nice to hear. It's not like I wanna necessarily, like, take that out of the equation, but there needs to be more to that conversation.
It frustrates me so much because as we're having this whole entire conversation and every conversation before this, it feels like you're walking in a field full of landmines and you constantly need to pause and think and be thoughtful before you can navigate forward. It just feels so impossible to truly be the parent we want to be in today's world. It is so, so hard. And I think we also are just proving that we are doing good work, but it's hard. And it's mentally exhausting. It's physically taxing. So I just wanted to, I guess, celebrate us for a minute
Yeah.
because it everything feels so,
Daunting.
yes, impermanent. If we mess up, there's no going back, and we're trying to right the ship and instill confidence and values and raise good humans as we try to reparent ourselves and unlearn everything that's deep rooted inside of us.
Yeah. I do think that there's this balance of everything you just said, and then kind of stopping and saying, "Okay, let Jesus take the wheel on this one." Like, they're gonna do what they're gonna do. They're gonna be who they're gonna wanna be. Yes, we are here as guides. I think you even gave me this advice, like, we're not supposed to have all the answers. We're not supposed to fix the problems. We can do our best,
Yeah.
and it the rest is up to fate, but I'm with you. Can I just, like, wake up and just be? Can I just exist without thinking, strategizing, gamifying, manipulating? Can I just be like, "Hi, this is what I wanna say. This is what's top of mind." That doesn't feel like that's ever possible, to your point, but something that I like to remind myself is the harder parenting feels, the more we care. So,
Mm.
if parenting felt easy, I'm not saying we wouldn't care at all, but we probably would care a lot less. We care a lot less about how we're parenting because we care so much, because we wanna break those generational pass downs. We want to, give our kids the tools that we didn't have, the confidence maybe we didn't have, the language we didn't have. Parenting feels 10 times harder because it is hard. We're doing our best. And that's, to me, that's all we can do. We care. We have good intentions. At the end of the day, when our kids are sitting in therapy being like, I'm so fucked up because my parents this and that, at least they'll be able to say, I know they tried their hardest and I know they wanted the best for me, and that's enough for me.
Let's hope, right?
All right, Maddie.
Sorry,
Let's get
I'm
your
just
positivity. Jesus.
Well, I think let's add to it that we're going to be the ones that when our kids do come to us and say, you fucked me up, we're going to say, all right, let's sit down and talk through it and admit,
True.
yeah, I could have done better. I'm sorry that you felt that way. I could have handled it differently. And I will also just add that I think we are giving them the foundation that hopefully, no matter what the world looks like, we are instilling resilience and a sense of self worth and value and confidence that they will be able to take it in strides.
That's actually a really good point. In terms of those foundational belief systems, I agree that those can withstand any type of future. And I'm just excited to see who our kids become. Terrified,
Same.
but also like, come on, let's go. I feel like they've been 2 and 4 forever. I feel like they've been 2 and 4 for 4 years.
Yeah, it's been a long, long few
Yeah.
years.
I was carrying Jonah out of daycare as he was straining and screaming and flailing. The daycare teacher was like, I don't know how you do it. I give you so much credit. And I'm like, is it my kids specifically? And she's like, no, 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 parents in general. Like, I see so many parents coming here looking so defeated. And so I laughed or not laughed, I like cried, I think, but cried on the inside. But I walked out the door and there's an older woman, it must have been grandma picking up. And I just kind of threw my head back because I'm freaking exhausted. I just worked all day and now I'm dealing with this. And she goes, I know it. I know it's hard, but it goes so fast. And I'm like, yeah, thanks. I know. I know. It's not fast right now, though. I have a feeling it's gonna be like once they're out of these tough years, it's gonna go fast. But right now, like time could not go slower.
I agree. Somebody told me, but when we were talking about the ages, like the best ages, I feel like so many people look back and they say 2 and 4, 3 and 5 are the best years with your children.
That's scary.
And it it's extremely scary because it's so hard in the moment, but what they were talking about was, 1, the problems that your child faces as they get older
Yeah.
are so monumentally different than the problems they're facing today, and they're going through puberty, and right now, when they're snotty and gross, they're still cute. That's not
Yeah.
cute on a 12-year-old, a 14-year-old. You're just like,
Yeah.
ugh. So I am doing a very bad job of remembering that in the moments because it just feels so hard right now. But I'm interested to see if when we get to that point, if we look back on these memories as fond memories of like my cute, cuddly, small children who just thought we were the world.
Oh, I know. When they come home from school and mama and run to me. Leo like didn't do that one day and I wanted to die. He was like eating popcorn or something and just didn't care about me. And I was like, oh my God, nope. I'm not ready for that. I'm not ready for it. So yeah, you're right. I got to try to remind myself too. And there's definitely moments. There's definitely moments, which is actually a good segue into our joy of the week.
I turned to Tyler last night and I was like, I need to go to bed at 8:30 because I'm just exhausted. I hate how I parented tonight. I have no patience for my children. I don't feel like I've had a reset. I don't know what's going on. I'm like, I'm tired. something's wrong with my body. So I literally put myself in a timeout. I was like, I need to go to bed early.
You need to
And
get a sun lamp.
we're going to wash away this day. If I go to bed, the clock resets and we can try
Right.
it again. But I was like, I can't tell you the last time I actually intentionally did something to find joy. And so I think that's part of it. I was like, so tonight I think is going to be my joy night. I am going to take myself out, whether it's just window shopping or just getting out of this house that I feel like I have been stuck in for so long because of the snow. We're just going to, yes, have some genuinely good alone time.
I love that correlation of what is different about me and why am I acting like this? Oh, I haven't done anything for myself. I haven't found joy. And so there you go. We don't have to record any more episodes. The world makes sense now. No, but that's awesome. And I hope you enjoy yourself. And I hope you're not so hard on yourself either, because we can't be perfect 100% of the time. And you have a limit. Like, you have capacity. And so this is your body and your mind's way of saying, okay, something needs to change. I'm feeling burnt out. This is also on the heels of your Disney vacation. So don't forget that. And the
Right.
thick of winter. There's a lot of variables
You're
here.
right.
Yes. So go easy on yourself. You're an incredible mom.
Thank you.
And your kids are so lucky. We had friends visit from Grand Rapids this past weekend, and we went into the city and did this like Paw Patrol thing. And it was so funny because I made dinner. Wait. Oh my God. How did I forget to tell you? I cooked for everybody. I cooked. And we sat
Oh
down at
my
the dining
God.
table and had a dinner together, all 6 of us, and then our
Who
kids.
is she?
I don't know. I don't know. Watch out. Watch out. The tides are turning. Um, but it was just so cute because as everybody was kinda, like, filtering in, it was chaotic, but in the best way. And I said to Chris, I go, "Okay, I have a new stance. If this is how Thanksgiving felt, I would like Thanksgiving, because like, the boys were running over and they're like, "Tee-tee," and then they're showing each other, it just felt so lively and warm and loving. It was just the best. And, like, these are our chosen family, so I'm like, "Okay, all right, I'm having a change of heart." I could see the draw. So our friends in Grand Rapids were like, "All right, looking at a clock. When are you guys moving back? We gotta keep this going." And after they left, the boys were like, "I miss Augie. Where's Uncle
Oh.
Mark?" Like, they just wanted them to come back. And so, yeah, it's like there was obviously moments of disappointment, and it was so chaotic, and I was wiped. But, oh my God, was it fulfilling. Just
Aw.
filled my cup.
I just want to say you cooked dinner. You clearly leaned into the chaos and relinquished control,
I did.
and the outcome was worth it. You
Yeah.
are you are living and breathing our face over here and crushing it.
Thank you,
Wow.
Maddie.
I
It
love
only took me, 6 months of talking about this stuff? No, I, like, truly thank you, but I have to give credit where credit's due. A lot of this is from the advice and perspective that you've given me, so
Aw,
thank
thank
you.
you. Apparently, I need to take my own advice
Yeah,
because
you're you
I'm
I
in it.
guarantee you, yeah, in but another couple weeks, and you're gonna be back to your thriving self, and I'm gonna be like, "I hate everything and everyone. Leave me alone." So, but until then, we'll find some other hot topic to, deconstruct and hopefully change our outlook for the
Yes.
better.
Doing the good work over here.
That we are. We'll see you next week.
Bye. And that concludes your free therapy session, brought to you by two people with lots of opinions and 0 certifications. Don't forget to bill your insurance, emotionally or otherwise. And be sure to follow us on Instagram at Grace Who Pod. That's Grace, WHO Pod.
Tune in next time for another deep dive into something we'll probably overthink and under-resolve. And while our search for grace continues, let's at least try to find a little joy in between.